The greatest leader in sports right now is Pep Guardiola, who's the current manager for the soccer team Manchester City in England. Just a little bit of background on Guardiola. He's from Spain originally. He's from the Barcelona region in Spain, and he grew up playing soccer. He came through Barcelona, played for the first team there, and kind of moved around a little bit from there, but mainly played at Barcelona for a majority of his career. And there he played in this role that's it's like the back of the midfield. It's called a deep lying midfielder or a deep lying playmaker. And so what he kind of did was control the game from that sort of deep lying midfield spot right in front of the line of defense that they had. And so in that role, you're basically kind of the field general. You're usually like the player coach of the team, so to speak, and that's kind of the position he played for a majority of his career, just kind of field general, controlling the game from his spot at the bottom or the back of the midfield. And so when he finished playing, he took a coaching job with the second team at Barcelona, so the Barcelona B team, and he coached there for a year, and then was promoted to the first team job, which is unprecedented to come into the head coaching job at a club as big as Barcelona in just your second year in coaching. But that season he kind of repaid that trust that the Barcelona board showed in him, and he won the treble, which is the domestic league, the domestic cup, and the Continental Cup. So it was the Spanish league, the Spanish Cup, and then the European Continental Cup, which is just it's very rare for a team to do that in general, much less with a first-year coach. And so that was kind of Guardiola's like emergence on the world stage of soccer as a coach. And going from that, he's won a total of 30 trophies in his career. He spent 4 years at Barcelona, and he went to Bayern Munich, spent 3 years there. Now he's at Manchester City. This is going to be his fourth season this year. And he's just been a serial winner, just winning everywhere he goes. And so the fact that he wins so much is kind of a testament to just his philosophy and his strengths. And I think his two greatest strengths that he brings to the table are his persistence, just his constant desire to be the best, his constant desire to improve and keep improving on the team that he has and the formations and the tactics that he has, and never just settling, never being content with that, just persisting and just striving for greatness. In addition to that, I think his second biggest strength is his attention to detail. He's very meticulous in the way he sets up his teams, because his playing style is so based on formations and spacing and where the players are, and then the passing and all these different things, that his attention to detail to coach his players to get those things right has to be just razor sharp, and it is, and it's incredible to watch and to see in action, as I've just watched him through the years and seen his teams play. It's incredible. I've seen videos of him coaching too, just the way he takes his players in and he just like coaches them so specifically on different things. And so stemming from that though, you know, your greatest strength can also be your greatest weakness on the flip side of the coin, and that's, I think, true with Guardiola. So with that attention to detail, he sometimes has a habit of, or a tendency to micromanage his players, to not give them the freedom that each player would want for them to excel best as a player, because a lot of times players just don't want to be just so bogged down with all these tactics and coaching tips and whatnot. They want to just go out there and play the way they can. And so he kind of micromanages a lot of his players and kind of can take away certain parts of his different players' games, or the games of different players. And in addition to that, he has a tendency to overthink his tactics and overthink the way he sets his team up. Specifically, lately in the Champions League with Manchester City, which is the European Cup, the past 2 years in the quarterfinal stage, he's just kind of overthought the tactics, just planned a little too much, been too literally just overthought it, and lined up the teams in a different way than how they've been playing all season, and ended up losing in both those quarterfinals the past 2 years. And so I think just that tendency to overthink and micromanage are his two biggest weaknesses, but they also play from his two biggest strengths. So it's kind of just give and take in that. But despite these weaknesses, he's, as I mentioned before, reached levels of unprecedented success. And I think two main reasons for that, kind of stemming from his strengths, are his tactics and then his mentality. His tactics are just, I think, the purest form of soccer that's ever been played before. It's based on spacing, passing, and just really controlling the game. So holding the ball, holding possession of the ball, and breaking down the other team through passing and through the way you line up and the runs you make in behind them. It's really just incredible to watch. If you look at Guardiola or the teams of Guardiola's, like their highlights, it's honestly just like beautiful to watch them. And so I think those tactics are what sets him apart, because no one else does those types of tactics, at least to the extent that he does, on the scale that he does, and with the degree of success that he does. And then in addition, something I kind of mentioned earlier, but his mentality, just that constant pursuit of perfection, knowing you're never going to reach perfection, but striving for it nonetheless. He's never content. Like you'll see him after games where they win, he'll go up to players and just be kind of coaching them through stuff, even if the player had a great game. Just like never satisfied with the level of performance, always knowing that there can be something that's better to make the team perform better, or to make a player better. And so just kind of never settling. That mentality that he has is, I think, probably the biggest reason for his success, and then along with his tactics that are absolutely incredible. But yeah, to sum that up, I think that's a few of the reasons why Guardiola is, I think, the greatest leader in sports. The way he coaches his team, the mentality he has, the attention to detail, persistence, just all the above, kind of sets him apart from all other leaders in sports.